What's up, guys? It's Bruce here. I am going to be talking about a book that I was pretty excited to read, and it's part of a 3-book series, and it's written by the great Steve Diamond, and that book is his debut novel, which is Residue. I'm currently reading his book 2 of that series, which is Parasite. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I can't wait to talk about that one. But that's not what we're here for tonight. Tonight we are here for, that sounded funny, Residue. Wow. You might have noticed that I have these, my lights look a little spooky wooky. You know, it's October, and perfectly, like, my garage light is super bright, and I haven't sprung for a cool, like, recording light. Oh yeah, by the way, my wife made me this with her cry cut. Space Wolves, no big deal. But yeah, tonight talking about Residue. I'm excited to talk about it, and like I said, my current read is Parasite. Sorry, I get them all mixed up. Residue, Parasite, and Catalyst is book 3. Residue and Parasite, keep like interchanging them. Anyway, let's do the synopsis real quick. Prepare for an electrifying journey into the supernatural with Residue. A heart-pounding tale of monsters, mayhem, and mind-bending powers. When Jack Bishop's father is abducted and a malevolent supernatural entity is unleashed upon his quiet town, Jack discovers an extraordinary gift, the ability to see psychic residue, the haunting echoes of monsters and murder. Teaming up with the enigmatic Alexandra, a mind reader with secrets of her own, Jack unleashes his growing ESP talents to thwart a series of gruesome murders, while unraveling a mystery behind his father's disappearance. Steve Diamond's reimagined edition of Residue is a fast-paced, action-packed paranormal thriller that will keep you riveted from start to finish. With accolades from best-selling authors like Terry Brooks, Larry Correia, Robert McCammon, and Dan Wells, Residue is poised to take the world of supernatural suspense by storm. Can Jack navigate his newfound supernatural world before it consumes him? Dive into the shadows and discover what lurks within. So, this book opens up so bad ace. Like, extremely vivid, violent. It sets the tone. It instills dread in you, like, right out of the gate. So there's what I like so much about it. It's so, like, I can picture it in my head right now. It was so well done. Alex is, from her point of view, so she's the first POV character we see in this book, and she's in this. She's in the Helix. I don't remember the corporation's full name, but Helix is the name of the company she works for. Her father works for as the CEO or whatever, and she is head of security. So she's inside the facility, and like alarms are going off. And the way he describes, like, there's this like red flashing lights, and like there's like blood on the ground. And you can feel her foot like slips or whatever through the blood on the ground. There's glass. She comes to this area where there's like a cell, and like it's like ripped open. There's like dead bodies. The guards that are still up are like look terrified. Just makes a really tangible atmosphere right out of the gate. Kind of sets the tone. We know that this story is going to be violent. It's going to be supernatural. It's going to be dark and creepy. And it's going to have guns in it. It's going to have Alex, who is very clearly a very capable person. So great opening for a book. I don't know, like, this is a revised edition, so I haven't read whatever the original one was, but this one rocks, dude. So, I mean, I don't know what all he changed, but so good. Great opening. Good job, Steve. Something I noticed about when I was reading this book is it reminded me of a YA novel, kind of like he's a young guy who comes in, like, realizes the world isn't exactly as he thought it was, and realizes that he's not even really what he thought he was. He has a hidden power, kind of like the Harry Potter, not the Harry, no, yeah. He goes into this new world, and realizes he's actually kind of a important player in that world. And yeah, and then there's like the relationship between him and Alex, that kind of how that works out. Definitely had like a YA feel, but at the same time, it was very like mature and adult, and like I said, violent and gruesome and scary. I think that's because it actually was written as a YA novel. From what I've heard from Steve, not from I talked to him, but like on his podcast, I heard him talk about his book, is that he originally wrote it as a YA novel, and the characters were actually younger. And then this revision, as the synopsis said, he went in and aged them up, and I don't know what else he did, but I guess he made the characters older. I've heard him say that. If you noticed it too, I don't know. I feel like you can still kind of tell that it was originally a YA novel. Not that it's a bad thing or anything. I'm just saying, just something I noticed. Definitely not like a ding against the book or anything like that. I gotta say, I really love the way Steve writes a scene. Like, he's just so good at like drawing you in, engaging like, your senses, your emotions. I know he talks a lot about being a horror writer, but dude, yeah, the guy, he knows how to set up some dread. Like, I remember one of my, like, besides that opening scene, there's so many good ones, but one that really sticks out to me from this book is when Jack is walking to school, to college, and he's going through just down the street, down this neighborhood, and he gets this really creepy feeling like he's being watched. It's like this eerie, things are like quiet, and then he looks over and he sees on this house. So when he sees psychic residue, it's like this purple glowy light, and he looks over to this house, and the word help is spelled out in the psychic residue, like on this garage door. You have such a creepy part of the book, and then he goes and talks to his creepy neighbor. But yeah, dude, just he's really, and then like even like his action. So like he's good at setting up dread and creepiness, and like doing a good build up, and then his action is fantastic. Like, he's good at like both like doing like high stakes action, low stakes action, whether it's like completely made up fantastical psychic fights between two psychic beings, or straight up gunfights, or I don't think there's a car chase in this book. There's a car chase in the next book, which is awesome. But yeah, he's got it down, man. He's good at action. Probably from hanging out with Larry Correia so much. I don't know. I'm sure he rubs off. They rub on each other, maybe. Yeah, but yeah, dude, he has some killer action in this, and Alex is a great character for like your shoot 'em up badassery. She's a great character for that, and he does a really good job with Alex. This book has like a really, it reminds me a lot of like X-Files. It has the X-Files feel to it, although I wouldn't say the plot or anything is X-Files, but I don't know, it just has a very X-Files feel. And also reminds me, I haven't listened to a ton of this podcast, but I've listened to a few episodes, and I know like basic premise. Reminds me a lot of the SCP archives, if anyone's familiar with that. It's like this is secure, contain, protect, or something, I think is what it stands for. Basically, it's this, corporation, I think, that like captures and contains and protects these, whether they're fantastical creatures or horror nightmare creatures or whatever. Similar things like that. And things definitely go wrong in that podcast from a few episodes I've heard, and things can go wrong in this book. So if you like the SCP archives, you would probably really like this book. So I would recommend it to you. If you've never heard of the book or that podcast, I would still recommend this book. If you like scary and you like action and you like monsters and supernatural, then definitely this is a book you should be reading. Speaking of the monsters, he's got like a real knack for writing monsters. Like, I'm not, the only other book of his besides these that I've read is the one he co-authored with Larry, which was Servants of War. And as far as I know, he wrote some pretty cool monsters. Like, he came up with some of those too, especially like in the journey they go through hell. Great, this guy's good. So in this one, we have like this it's like a psychic vampire called the Leech. Really cool. He's got these like mutant werewolves called hounds. They're not werewolves, and you don't need like any special bullets to kill them, but they are creepy and like kind of like patchy hair, it sounds like, and they just look like mutant. Like, you would think a mutant like this thing could probably exist in Fallout or something like that, But but just really cool. And then like the other people, because people all throughout this world have powers. It's rare, only some people have it. But if you do have it, and it like, comes out that you have it, like if Helix, the company, finds out you have it, they're probably gonna come looking for you. And they aren't really the best people with good ethics. So I don't want to give too many spoilers away on that, but Helix sucks. Gaines, the CEO, not a good guy. And so we have the two POV characters, which is Jack and Alex. But on top of there being two POV characters, there's also actually two different POVs. So whenever it's a chapter with Jack, it's first person, and then with Alex, it's second person. This is actually the only book I've read that did that. And I gotta say, I liked it. It wasn't jarring or didn't like pull me out of the story or throw me off at all. I feel like it flowed really well that way. And not that he needed to use a cheat code, but it's a pretty good little like method for really distinguishing the two characters. I'm not trying to put them down saying you can't write a whole book in one POV. I'm just saying I think this was a cool way to kind of add a distinguishing factor between the two characters. But not like even without the POV trick, you can still tell a difference, even like based off their personalities and how they approach things and how they think and talk. And yeah, and the relationship between Jack and Alex is really interesting, especially when he finds out that she can read minds. It really, I don't know, man. It's just, there's this weird, like, not weird, this really strong sense of like vulnerability, but then also like trust. Like Jack is like, okay, like, and like, it's so interesting because like Jack has to be okay with her reading his thoughts, but at the same time, like, she also has to deal with knowing everybody's thoughts. Like if she's rechecking someone's mind, and like she's an attractive woman, so she's probably hearing people wanting to like do all kinds of nasty things to her all the time. So it's a really like interesting dynamic. And the way he does her ability too, like it's not like she just has like an open frequency. She's just being bombarded by everybody's thoughts. She has a lot of control over it. And you see her use that a lot more in the second book in really cool ways. But yeah, it's definitely, it's a sense that she's honed, right? So it's not just like full blast all the time. It's like seeing, I've heard him make this analogy, Steve, where it's not like you don't go outside and like, oh, I'm seeing too much, right? Like it's a sense, right? So she knows how to use it where it's not like overpowering her. Yeah, so she has like trust issues. And I mean, if you think about it, it's a really interesting take on being a mind reader, because yeah, you would have trust issues. You would know everybody's a liar. You know, everyone has like disgusting thoughts, probably really inappropriate, probably criminal thoughts, but you can't really say anything about it. And then as the books go, like they kind of like are able to bounce their abilities off each other, which is cool. Just really great, like, I don't know, really interesting take on psychic abilities. They do end up like, they form a very special relationship. And if you think it's a spoiler, then turn your ears off, but they do get together, right? They become a boyfriend-girlfriend duo. And it's good, it's well-paced, and it's very believable. Like the connection they form over their abilities of knowing these secrets, of they both see, so his father gets kidnapped, as the synopsis said, but like he's also a father to Alex, even though he's not really her father, because her father is such a D-bag. So they're connected over that. Yeah, they build a really strong, understanding, trustful relationship, where they kind of like, a lot of stuff is based on not keeping secrets, because eventually Jack learns how to close his mind down. But when that happens, like Alex gets really freaked out because she's so used to having that connection. So he doesn't close his mind down to her, which just is another step in showing that he trusts her so much. So really like good job on their relationship. I really like their relationship. I thought maybe it was gonna be a little too much of them, like, the cutesy romance, but it's done really well. It's not too much. It's not like distracting from the craziness that's going on. I think it's just the right amount. And I like them as a couple, dude, because she's really badass and capable, and he's not at all, really. I mean, as he starts to kind of figure his powers out, he becomes pretty powerful and badass in that aspect. But as far as like physically and like guns and stuff, no, he never really, as far as I'm at, He's not that great with that kind of stuff. But he's brave and he cares about her, and good relationship. Yeah, as far as Alex goes, I'm definitely gonna have to make a Chud Chicks video about this girl because she is rad. She is the epitome of how to write a strong female character well, and not having to make everyone around her an idiot so that she can shine. Just another good example of a chud writing a character that's female that's really good. And obviously he doesn't hate women, right? As far as I know, he's married and has children. Talking about Steve. So it's just, I'm just kind of baffled that that's even an argument we have in this day and age that people are just making. And like, and then they won't even like read a guy like Steve because they think he's a chud. So like everything they're saying is based off of some weird fever dream fantasy they have of these boogeymen that they kind of like, you know, install over real people and don't see real people for who they are. So it just good job, Steve. Thank you for writing good female characters that kick ass without having to bring everyone else around them down. And then Jack, yeah, his story arc is pretty cool. He goes from being like a super normal kid with dumb worries like any kid has, a little movie buff, and his world kind of like, his story starts off getting kind of, his life gets turned upside down real quick when the cop comes to his house and is like, where's your dad? Can't find his dad. His dad's missing. Goes and pretty quickly finds out that he can see this residue, although he doesn't realize that he's like seeing something special. He's like, oh, did you guys see those tracks? And nobody saw anything. And so stuff kind of like picks off and goes real quick. We don't have a lot of build up. I mean, there is build up as far as like him progressing his abilities, but as far as getting to the point of him knowing that stuff's wrong and he is not normal, that picks up pretty quick. And then his progression as far as like him getting stronger with his abilities is really cool. I like it a lot. It goes from like him getting like headaches over simple things, like when he uses his powers, to by the end of the book doing some pretty awesome stuff. And then by the next book, it just he keeps getting stronger and stronger. Yeah, I think I really like Jack's abilities because it's like, it's ESP, and yeah, he can do this. You can like feel people's feelings. You can see the residue, but he uses it in such like other ways as well. Like the way he can manipulate emotions. He can send his aura out, and if he touches somebody with his aura, he can like give them a command, and they'll do it. It's pretty cool. I like it. I'm pretty down with this series. I need to go find some more Steve Diamond books because I'm loving it, dude. Him and Larry, what a great duo. I hope they write. I know the Age of Ravens book series. I think it's supposed to be a trilogy. I'm not sure. But Servants of War was book 1. I think Instruments of War is their next one. Please hurry up and get that done because I want to read it so bad. But they're just a great duo. And Steve, if you guys haven't read Steve Diamond, you really should, because that guy knows how to write. And he knows how to write horror. Yeah, Residue. And what's not to like, dude? You got supernatural, you got guns, you got monsters, you got evil corporations, cover-ups, just so much cool, good stuff. Oh, and there's a really cool prom scene. I'm not gonna go into that at all, but there's a really cool prom scene in this book. That's all I got for this book, dude. If you're not reading Steve Diamond, like, you really should be, because the guy rocks. He is a legitimately good writer. This book is awesome. Go read it, dude. I'm excited to finish this series. It's fantastic. Oh, dude, right now I want to talk about the next book so bad, but I won't. If you could please give me a like, share, subscribe, and give me a comment. Let me know what you thought of the video. If you've read the books, let me know what you thought about them. If you have any differing opinions, dude, let me know. Put it down in the comments. But that's all I got for tonight. I will see you guys next time. Keep on reading.